Welcome everyone to this episode of the Mortgages by Gretchen show, where I talk to real people in the field of real estate who are not only experts, but they are very generous and willing to share their knowledge and their wisdom with us here. And the goal of the show is to gain some information and tips that you can use in your goals in owning real estate, and also to take some of the guesswork out of what to do or whom to call and to guide you in the process. Today I have Kate Arviko with me. And Kate is the sales director of SimplInsur for the M3 group. And the brokerage that I belong to, which is Mortgage Alliance, is part of the M3 group. And SimplInsur provides access to a suite of insurance products to M3 brokers across Canada. I've known Kate for a number of years through her role in educating brokers and myself. And Kate is very passionate, knowledgeable, very giving of her information about insurance and how we can use that information to help our clients. Kate's very warm, professional, enthusiastic, and is just a great resource and helper to me in what I do. She goes above and beyond to make sure that we all know what the products are all about, how we can use them, and how they can benefit our customers. So I'm really grateful for that, Kate.
Well, thank you I wasn't expecting that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That means a lot. And thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And so please feel free to introduce yourself and add anything to your background or who you work with or anything else you'd like to add to that.
Well, thank you again for the intro and for having me on. So as you mentioned, my name's Kate Arviko. I'm a director of sales for SimplInsur, and SimplInsur is within the M3 family of brands, and we offer our brokers access to a suite of insurance products for their clients. And there's two main pillars within SimplInsur. The first being our creditor insurance, which includes creditor life, disability, and our critical illness product, which is a great product to have. The other pillar within SimplInsur is our home and auto program. Now, my role is really, as you mentioned, to educate all of our M3 brokers on our products so they can in turn offer our products to their clients. Yeah.
Perfect. So what are the benefits of people having insurance protection?
The benefits of mortgage protection, it's really ensuring that your family or your beneficiaries are protected if there's a loss of life. Having your mortgage paid off, as well as penalties and discharge fees, and essentially turning your biggest liability into an asset for your family is key. And of course, on the disability side, coverage of your monthly mortgage payment in the case of disability is very helpful, during a time where it's really difficult to cover all your expenses at a lower income.
Perfect. So that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can explain the difference between mortgage, creditor, life, disability, and critical illness, actually just explain what that is and who benefits most for those different products.
Okay, so mortgage insurance is really a great product. So our creditor life product is a really great product for all clients, all ages, whatever it is they do. We pay off the balance of the mortgage at the time of loss. Disability is a wonderful product for your BFS clients, as they obviously wouldn't
And maybe explain what BFS is.
Oh, business for self, sorry. Mortgage terms. I came from the lender side too, so I still use that terminology. So yeah, disability is a wonderful product for your business for self clients, as they wouldn't have that coverage through their work, obviously being business for self, unless they have a secondary policy or they have a, so anyway. Last but not least, critical illness is a really great product that will cover the mortgage balance up to $500,000 under SimplInsur if the client survives 90 days after a diagnosis of acute heart attack, stroke, or life-threatening cancer. So if you're a younger client and you know that maybe you have a distant family or you have distant family history of these types of conditions, you may also want to obtain the critical illness, especially if there's a chance you may experience one of these three types of health issues later in life. It's better to get the insurance before anything happens.
Okay, perfect. That was very clear.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. So maybe explain why a younger person, maybe buying their first home versus a middle-aged couple, what they'd be looking for in an insurance product.
You mean why they would take the insurance versus
Yeah,
men?
I guess because obviously there are different stages in life, different ages. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start with a younger client. I personally would highly suggest, not just because I work for an insurance company, but I would highly suggest mortgage protection as a younger client, especially as a first-time home buyer. Here's the thing. Our premiums will stay level for the life of your mortgage. We base it on your mortgage amortization. We can port our policies to all lenders and properties, and mortgage protection premiums are based on age, as you know, and mortgage amount. So if you can lock in at a young age, a super young age, if you're younger than 30 or between 30 and 40, make sure you get that insurance, because we will lock that premium in, and that policy is going to follow you and your mortgage throughout the life of your mortgage. And some of those premiums for young clients are really less than what they would pay, let's say, for their Starbucks coffee every month. So it's really worth it if you're young to consider the creditor insurance, especially with SimplInsur, because we will port wherever you go throughout the life of your mortgage, and you keep that low premium. Now, it's the same case. We would still lock in a premium for older clients, and older clients at times are still interested in the insurance. However, some may also have other insurance products in place, like a term product. So maybe budget could be an issue, but we do have ways on the SimplInsur side of making the insurance affordable. One of those ways is called partial coverage. We offer coverage as low as $250,000. So at least if there's any sort of loss in life, later on in life for your older clientele, the remaining spouse could afford to stay in the home, as a large portion would be paid off. So it kind of helps offset the older age versus, the younger age off the premiums.
Okay, that's very great to know that you do the partial insurance.
Yeah, I think it's helpful because, some people get a little, oh, I just did my mortgage. I have all these payments I have to, take care of on a monthly basis now. And it can be intimidating, right? But, if you know what your clients are comfortable with paying on a monthly basis, we can make it work on our end with that partial coverage option.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who aren't sure about this, what is the difference between mortgage, creditor insurance versus term insurance or life insurance?
So
Term life, I should say.
Yeah, so there's a couple differences, couple major differences between creditor and term, and I'll speak very high level here because my response could go on for quite a while here. So our term products are meant really for income replacement in the event of loss. So let's say if you have a spouse pass away and they have term insurance, you would receive the payout and utilize those funds as an income replacement, but you would still technically need to pay your monthly mortgage payment. Now, if you had SimplInsur in place, the entire mortgage and lender penalties would be paid out at the time of loss. So that's more of a debt reduction type product. Creditor insurance is more of a debt reduction type product. We don't discourage our brokers' clients from obtaining term products. At times, it may be helpful to have both the mortgage protection in place as well as a term policy. That way, your biggest debt is paid off, and then you've got a term policy in place that's really acting as more of an income replacement product, and you can still maintain that same lifestyle without such a huge portion of that term payout going towards your mortgage, right? So as far as our pricing goes, another difference I'll just point out too between term and creditor insurance is pricing. So our premiums would stay level for the life of the mortgage, wherever you go, whatever lender, whatever property, it goes with you. On the term side, you'll most likely experience a significant increase in premium upon renewal. That's more so if you have like a 10-year product, you would experience a significant increase in premium. So that's a big difference, just knowing, okay, this is my premium for the life of my mortgage with this type of product. It reduces my debt, essentially turns that liability into a asset for my family, whereas the term product is more of income replacement for the loss of the person in your family.
Okay, that's perfect. I love that explanation. It's very clear.
Oh, good. But
yeah, debt reduction, turn it to an asset versus income replacement.
Yeah, it's a really great way of looking at it. I find when you explain it that way, it's almost like a bell goes off with clients. It's like, oh, yeah, that's huge, because it is. It's your biggest debt. You're probably your biggest payment on a monthly basis. So having that taken care of is huge.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And what would the difference be between the SimplInsur product and what you might get offered at a bank if you were going, getting a mortgage at the bank, and what they would offer you?
Well, I probably sound biased here, but we have, in my opinion, we have one of the best insurance, creditor insurance products, I should say, for all brokers out there in Canada. There's a few big differences here, and you need to be aware of this because the banks are quite aggressive with clients these days, especially if you're, well, I'm not going to name names, but they can be quite aggressive on the creditor insurance product side. So need to be aware of these types of features that we offer that are not available with the banks. To start off, this is really a broker-led product. So over the years, and since we launched this product, we've been listening to broker feedback based on what they hear from their clients, working with Canada Life, who's our amazing partner that underwrites, facilitates all the insurance on the back end. And we've made a lot of changes to our products that a bank wouldn't offer. We wanted to make this the best product for you and your clients. Okay, so the first thing, portability, we kind of discussed that a minute ago, will allow you to port your policy to any lender or property. Now, that's not the case with the banks. Let's say you're with Bank A and you decide, okay, after my 5-year term, I'm going to leave, I'm going on to Bank B, or I'm going on to a monoline lender because I've got this great rate. You cannot take their product with you. So
Keep talking, but I'm closing my blind because I'm getting.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. You could not take their product with you. So you would essentially have to requalify at a higher age, which means an increase in monthly premiums, again, because you can't take that product with you if you leave the bank. Now, we want to keep our costs down for your clients, I should say. So that is why we've made our policies portable. The other big thing that, well, I think as a client myself, is a fantastic feature. We offer a coverage of the full penalty and discharge fees when we pay out a claim. So we all know, depending on really when the payout occurs within a term, let's say someone passes away, some of those penalties are quite hefty. So knowing that everything is covered really gives the client peace of mind, and the client can focus on grieving and moving on to the next stage in their life. We know that the banks cap that. Usually it's around 5%. So if there's anything over 5% that's being charged to the client on a claim payout, then the client is going to have to come up with those funds, which, you don't really want to have to worry about when you've just lost a partner or a family member. One more thing I want to point out, because this is kind of cool. I mean, you hear some feedback on the level premiums and this and that, but we also offer the ability to lower monthly premiums. Okay, so let's say your client's paying a minimum of 5% within a 1-year span towards their principal amount. So they're making lump sum payments. If they've made that minimum 5% within a 1-year span, so it doesn't have to be January to December, it could be February to February, whatever works for the client. Maybe they want to use their bonus to pay down some of their mortgage, in March, February, March, whatever the case may be, they can call Canada Life, who again is our wonderful partner, and they will lower their monthly premium based on the new mortgage amount after paying down the principal and at the age of the time of application. So so technically clients could do this once a year and continuously lower their premiums annually. Now that's something that the banks do not offer, and we wanted to make sure that our clients had the opportunity to do that with us.
That's a huge benefit and very fair.
Yeah, it makes sense, right?
Yeah. And which is kind of gets rid of one concern people have sometimes about keeping that payment, but balance keeps going down, right? So that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Good. So that's really amazing, helpful information. I guess my last question would be, what is your last piece of advice for Canadians right now?
Let's see. Really, I mean, I think we were just talking about how crazy this year's been and how everything is kind of uncertain around us. So now is really the time to have the insurance in place. And it's really never too late. Let's say you're a client of Gretchen's and you've declined the insurance in the past, but now you're interested. You can always reach out to Gretchen and sign up anytime after closing with SimplInsur. The only thing I would suggest is that you provide her with the current mortgage balance so that we can start insurance at your current versus your original balance. We always like to save you a little bit of money wherever we can. And I would advise getting the insurance, especially during these COVID days. COVID is not something that's excluded from our claims at this point in time. I think that this whole pandemic is so new to everybody. We're not in that place where we're going to exclude something like that. Pandemics are not excluded. So let's say if one of your clients passes away that has coverage to SimplInsur, and they pass away due to COVID, we will pay out that claim. So just keep that in mind. It's probably a great product to have in place, especially over the next couple of years. So I would highly suggest getting it just during these uncertain times.
That's a really good point, and one that a lot of people wouldn't know if it would be covered. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, no problem. It's a reality, unfortunate reality around us. So it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Kate, thank you so much for your time and all of these great tips. And this is going to be posted, and I'm going to be sharing this with all my customers to make sure, or potential customers, so they know this really helpful, important information. So,
great. And if any of them want insurance, just let me know and I'll help you out.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Gretchen.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.